Hey guys, what's going on? So, back at it again. Last couple days, Trent was here yesterday helping me work on a bunch of stuff, but I've been just slaving away at the gauge cluster and pretty much just buttoning up the rest of the wiring. So, as you can see, the dash is all back together. I took that panel off over there, sitting right there, to do some diagnosis because it wouldn't fucking start, and I'll explain that in a second. But got everything back in, it's all good. And down under there, you can't see it's behind the kick panel. I got two relays. I got that heater core relay and then another relay for taillights. But I got everything in the dash working, I thought. But I made that other harness that plugs in. Skipped all the boring stuff for you guys, and built all that, put it all in there, and everything looks freaking good. See if I can get it. So as you can see, let me turn this off. All lights are on. Charge light because it's not running. Battery voltage, I got it hooked to a battery charger right now. The trans temp is not hooked up yet, but I have a harness for it. Water is hooked up, but there's no water in it. And V1 is oil pressure. I forgot to run the fucking line. So that's what I'm doing right now. I gotta pull all this shit back apart, run a stupid line, and log away. But check it out. Fuel gauge works like it should now. So when you turn it off, now that you can't see, it drops back down, goes to where it's normally supposed to be, turn it on, and it goes back up to, I have just under a quarter tank, I guess. So that's cool. I got lucky with the ohm. I bought that fuel cell in like 2008, so apparently it is a 0 to 90 ohm, so about a 0 to 90 gauge, and it's an RCI fuel cell. Got lucky, and it was the same. There's a lot of different styles apparently. Anyways, so I'm gonna tear this side back apart and get that oil pressure hooked up. And once I get that in there, I'll walk around what we've done up front and explain to you what I just did. I spent all day doing. It's dark now, if you can't tell. Pretty much what I've been doing all day. And yeah, so here's a time lapse. I'm pretty glad I took all that apart. It is all back together. Got everything down underneath, up top. It is all back together. So, make sure everything's turned off here. still comes on. So that's always a plus. I'm pretty glad I took all that apart, because not only did I forget the oil pressure line, but I forgot to hook up a trans temp signal wire. So I ran one out. I haven't done anything with any of the tranny stuff. I did work on hooking up my cables to get them run through the floor. There's a hole there and a hole there. I actually have the, let me see if I get this light to work in my favor. I was able to try to use the old e-brake cable hole for my actual shifter, and it worked out well, but all of my cables, 4 that I have, are all almost exactly 12 inches too short. So my transmission shifter is probably 12 inches too short, but my transmission thing is way up here by my foot. You gotta remember my transfer cases are back here, but my transmission's way the hell up there. So I have one really long cable, and then I have 3 short cables. So technically I have one cable that would work for one of my shifters, which doesn't do me any good. So I'm gonna get a hold of JB Fab, John, and see if I can exchange these cables for new ones. Sure hope so. And so that's where I'm at with that. That's the only kind of work I've done underneath. I still gotta drop the pan out of the tranny, put in the temperature sensor, and I need to change the shift solenoid plug, because this harness is meant for traction control, and 3/4 don't have traction control because they don't have power and they like to blow up. But let me show you what I've done outside. Trent was here helping me work on it. As you can tell, it's on the left again. I wrapped pretty much everything up in cab. So I got orbital valve is mounted. I got lines ran to it. These are not the right lines. As you can see, like there's one right here. They're too long, they're just not right. So for now, they're all hooked up just so I can, once it can move, I can move it, and I'll take it to OCS and have them make new lines for it. I have no cooler right now because I don't plan on getting it that hot. But Trent did get my reservoir tacked up and basically in the best spot possible. Well, the only spot. Yeah, so if you can see this high pressure line, it comes off the pump, pretty legit. But it comes over here, and then it's got a 45 right here going the wrong way. So it makes it kink over weird. So I'll have to have a new one of those lines made. Right now, I just have a Riley's power steering fluid in it. I always run Swepco 715, because since I got this damn thing, had nothing but issues with steering. I can't imagine why. And a full spool, that does not help. So all the steering is done. I bled it all, put it up on the lift, pushed the tires back and forth as much as I could, turned the wheel, and bled it. Then for the water temp sensor on these, it's right down, right there, on top of that. And it is actually another sensor that is there. That sensor now is down in the valley of the motor. I dropped it. But when I had the rest of you can see all this plastic stuff on the ground right here, like that piece, and it goes and covers up all of the coil wires, and it actually is super wide and you can't see anything underneath it. Well, the coil pack plug right here came unplugged from trying to finagle our hands in here, and it doesn't have a clip on it, so it just pops right off. That was cool. Well, it popped off and I could not get it to start. It sounded like it was running. It sounded like it was running like shit. What are the odds? So started tracking everything down. I was getting a little scared because I had just did all the wiring in the cab not all of it, but like all the dash stuff or the gauge stuff is all transferred over to all the actual circuitry and everything. And then running all the wires, and then you do a ton of work and then all of a sudden it won't start. It's kind of unnerving because then you have to basically pick apart all your shit. So as I was testing like the IAC valve and all that crap, everything had power like it's supposed to, but it just wouldn't start. And then as I pulled the IAC valve, I happened to see that plug just sitting there. But I still pulled the IAC valve and cleaned it, and not rebuilt, but cleaned it all up, make sure, because I was pretty sure that was the problem, but obviously I was wrong. So oil pressure goes all the way down there, comes up, runs underneath all this. I still got to zip tie it all up and out of the way and take care of it. And then this is the transmission signal wire. Yeah, so this is the line for the IAC valve. It runs all the way over and goes into the IAC valve. I have a ton of intake stuff, and I keep ordering all the wrong sizes. It's a 2 3/4, or a 3 1/4 intake size, and I kept ordering 3 3/4 stuff. So now I have huge intake crap. But I had some heater hose adapters. It was like 5/8 to 3/4, just males, and I cut one, drilled a hole right there, and then I pushed it through from the back. So I had about a barb sticking out that I could stick the hose on. And the IAC valve needs to be red, or MAF red air. So it can only use air that's after the MAF sensor. And so that's how I did that. The video or my last video where you heard it start and it wouldn't run for crap, was because the IAC valve was wide open. So yeah, with all that, everything's new, should run, and yeah, I'll let you guys hear this old girl's run. It does sound like it has a miss because these eBay headers, if you can tell, like this one is, or that fucking cylinder is only like 4 inches long. This cylinder's like 8 inches. This one's 10, and that one's like, well, with this stupid bend in it, probably like 20. So they're unequal length headers. Doesn't sound super good when they're open. Same with the other side. They're just basically completely wrong. So you got shortish, medium, and extra long. And with that is that you have two, I don't know, let's call them like sound nodes coming out of the exhaust at like the same time, and it makes it sound like it has a miss. It doesn't have a miss, trust me, it does not have a miss, but it doesn't sound super great. So let me get the big camera out and I'll set it up somewhere that's cool, and then I'll take you inside with the GoPro and I'll show you the gauges and stuff and get this thing running. Okay, well, I got the big camera set up. They're not really big, but it's a nice camera. And yeah, let me take the battery charger off, since it now has wires and is hooked up to the alternator. So that is off. These are off. I had that hooked up because when I was dicking around with it for a long time, I had the belt off, because it's a serpentine belt, and it was hooked up, or I had the pump hooked up, and that was the only size, and there was nothing hooked up to the pump. Obviously now all the steering's hooked up, and the reservoir, it's got fluid, so it has something to pump now. So the alternator works, and yeah, the shop is a wreck, by the way. Whatever, it's almost there. All right, so I'm up into this thing, and take a look at these. So that is my charge light. What the hell? Fuck. That's annoying. I just had those working. Sucker. Well, my fucking dash lights. All these still work. These ones don't. So fuck that. Well, give me a second. Okay, we're back working. I have a loose connection, but everything still works. These are the only ones I have hooked up to the dimmer because those ones don't matter. These ones will always be bright because they're the ones that matter. So, and make sure you guys are here to hear this thing run. So, got voltage. Bump the key, get some fuel. Alright, well, I'm deaf. But that's that. It runs. All because of all this crap. That was fun to make. It wasn't that fun when it didn't work right off the bat. That pissed me off. But I love it. The 1UZ 4Runner is alive. So pretty much done in here other than shifter cable crap. You probably can't see over there. Pretty much done in here other than shifter cable stuff, which is kind of attached to the outside, so that's really all that matters. Let's turn off the camera. How about, hopefully that wasn't too loud. I probably should put a warning there. Let's look at though. Look at that. Actually looks like shit on 2 cameras. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the real actual startup. Hopefully the next time I can do some donuts in the field and roll it for you or something. I need to, I'm pretty much at a standstill right now. I mean, I got a few things I want to do, but I want to get everything in the cab done so I can stop being in the cab. Because when it's on the lift, it's pretty fucking annoying when doors don't fucking open all the way and having to climb over everything. That's why I used to be way up here, so I could have the doors all the way open. But yeah, so should be pretty much done on the inside, and now we'll start having videos of pretty much being underneath. So yeah, a quick video, but startup, running. Hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure you like and subscribe and tell your buddies. Thanks, guys.